on ATV News.
Students marched from the business building to Old Main. Find out why they're so concerned about donations.
Air Force ROTC held a vigil for Veterans Day, and we're not talking for just a few hours.
Engineering students used trebuchets to fling pumpkins. Think they made it farther than a football field? How about 2?
Here at Zion, what does fine art and the establishment of national parks have in common?
And weather. It's a little tricky doing this in leaves. We'll let you know if you can start making snow angels this week.
Is our student section too crazy? Well, we'll show you how Utah State compares to other schools around the nation.
All that and more, this is ATV News. That's the end of the line for a laptop left on a Cache Valley bus with a suspicious note. Welcome to ATV News. I'm Misty Inglet.
And I'm Amelia Reed.
Boom, boom, boom. That was what the handwritten note said that brought a bomb squad to the transit center. The letter was found when the Cache Valley Transit Department workers opened up the laptop to try to identify the owner. The computer was left on a bus from Hiram and taken to the transit center lost and found. When the note was found, CVTD officials evacuated the transit center, rerouted the buses, and contacted the sheriff's office. Bomb technicians determined the laptop was likely inert, but they destroyed it to be sure.
We're going to err on the side of caution and analyze it and make sure that we're dealing with something that truly is inert.
The CVTD reopened the transit center shortly after the explosion.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints came out with a new policy that affects members in same-sex marriages and their children. Our Sarah Winder will show you what that change is and how people are responding.
We regard same-sex marriage as a particularly grievous or significant, serious kind of sin.
Or apostasy, as the LDS Church declared it in a policy update on Thursday. This new update also restricts the children of same-sex couples from receiving a formal name and baby blessing, and from being baptized until they're 18.
It's not very, I don't know, it's not very Christian-like, it's not very including.
At first, because we just kind of like read the headline, you know, and it was kind of a little bit shocking.
For me, it makes sense.
And these differing opinions started on social media.
When this new policy came out, a lot of people found out on Facebook, and that sparked some discussion, or a lot of discussion.
In reference to the official response by the church, some Facebook posts said things like, "It makes a lot more sense and seems in harmony with the other teachings of the church," while others found little comfort in the response and said, "This is a most painful interview to watch in terms of the lack of compassion for their flock and also for the children, who will in effect be discriminated against, marginalized, and in actuality, outcast." But the church is adamant.
This policy originates out of that compassion. It originates from a desire to protect children in their innocence and in their minority years.
And while people continue to discuss it on Facebook, the conflict hasn't completely flooded the Access and Diversity Center yet.
I've probably seen more controversy on Facebook than I have in here.
But that doesn't mean they don't want to help.
We are here to support, you know, those students who are struggling, or those students who just want to come in and kind of talk about things.
And that's just what they hope students in need will come and do. Sarah Winder, ATV News.
For anyone struggling with this new policy change, you can visit the Access and Diversity Center or contact the Suicide Prevention Hotline at 800-273-8255.
Some USU students want to know where money from donors is going, and they took their concerns to campus sidewalks. Protesters want to be allowed to see all contracts between Utah State and the Koch Foundation, an organization that donates millions of dollars to several universities. Last Thursday, students walked from the business building to the president's office in Old Main in protest and to deliver a formal request for the contracts. Koch is known for their support of energy development and environmental protection. They have become controversial to some, and that's why students want to see all interaction between them and USU since 2008. They say they want to be sure they're getting an education that hasn't been bought.
We just want, as students, to know that our university is not being tarnished because of money from outside sources.
A university spokesman says they have no problem cooperating.
We received the first request for information on, I think, Monday this week, and immediately began the process of pulling together the information and getting it for them. So yeah, no problem. We'll give them all the information they want.
Vitali says part of their contract is that they notify Koch when a request has been made, and now they're just waiting to hear back from Koch.
There were more than 300 hackers at Utah State University last weekend, but our computers were all safe. Our Jamie Sun is live with us to tell us more about a new kind of convention here at USU. Jamie?
Thanks, Amy. So these hackers even got awards for their works being fastest, funniest, and more, but it's not what you may think. They let me shoot over their shoulders as they made computing history.
This student is coding a website. It's not just a website these students are capable of.
I want to connect a car horn to the internet.
Now we're coding a web-based video game.
These students are all hacking away. This is Utah's first intercollegiate hackathon. These student developers hacked for 36 hours. Hack, as in movies?
A lot of people have a misconception of what hack really is. Like they think you're going to hack into some bank or something. But really it's just another way of learning. It's another way of taking something and developing something and making it work for how you would like it to work. And that's the connotation that we want to have hack be now.
According to Juganaiku,
you're going to hook up the horn actually.
This hackathon gave students like himself many opportunities in just 36 hours.
I'm a student, and as a student I don't have a lot of money just to spend on projects, but here they provide us tools. They have all the fancy things.
Even though 36 hours may seem like a long time, according to Middleton, it may not be enough to build a video game.
We hope.
And he did. This is the video game that Middleton built in 36 hours. He used Google Maps
to build this web-based maze game where this character needs to use these signs to not get hit by a car. The game is not fully built, but they are building, not hacking things apart.
Change the thinking about hack, because we need more developers and we're not here to break into things. A lot of us just want to build stuff and take our ideas and actually make them reality.
So it was also another form of a job fair. Some sponsors came to check out what students were doing, talked to them face-to-face, and saw what they were capable of. Back to you, Amy.
A great job interview. Thanks, Jamie.
When we come back, see what steps ROTC took to make sure not forgotten.
And you've heard of pigs flying, but what about pumpkins? We'll show you how some students make them soar.
Listen now, can you hear the bluebirds? Oh, look up now, can you feel the sun?
It surprised me that anybody came, and then it surprised me that there were some that were saddened. And I was saddened. I carry some guilt. It's like I should work here forever.
That's Dean Allen's reaction after he announced he would retire July 1st. He has worked in this office for 6 years. Now he says it's time for someone else to come in and continue to build on the foundation he's leaving. He said his motto has always been personal and professional. That's let him get to know the faculty and students. He says he looks forward to seeing where they all go and what they do. And he has a few words of advice for students.
Don't take courses that are easy. They have no value, except on paper. So take the hard courses. Be engaged. Be challenged. Have some anxiety. And you'll be successful.
Dean Allen said he and his wife are planning to move to the Oregon coast to enjoy retirement. As for a new dean, the provost is currently looking nationwide and hopes to choose one by early spring.
Today is Veterans Day, a federal holiday set aside to remember those that have served in the U.S. Armed Forces. Businesses all over Logan will offer special discounts to veterans all day to show gratitude for their service. But what about those that did not come home? These cadets are marching as part of a 24-hour memorial for prisoners of war and servicemen and women that are missing in action. These two will march for an hour. After that hour is up, someone will replace them for 24 hours, regardless of weather. It's an annual event the ROTC hosts, and though Air Force marched this year, it still represents all POWs and MIAs. Captain DiVirgilio said that's because it's about the service, not the branch.
I think it's a great event that encapsulates really what it means to serve. And if our cadets didn't know beforehand, they know afterwards.
Though they switched every hour, many cadets took on multiple shifts.
Do you struggle getting scholarships? Have you ever questioned why you didn't receive one? Well, you're not the only one. We went to find out more about why they can be so tough to get. Meet Brandon. He's a full-time student with 2 jobs, one off campus and one on. With himself and his wife to support, Brandon needed help paying for school, so he applied for a lot of different scholarships. And yet,
this is actually the 2nd year in a row that I haven't received any scholarships, so I had to go and get a loan from my dad so that I could actually pay for school, and I've got to pay him back about $500 a month for the next 9 to 10 months.
So what determines who gets scholarships and who doesn't? The College of Humanities and Social Sciences say they focus a lot on both merit and need. But the challenge is deciding whose need is greater. The main problem with need is that there just isn't enough scholarship money to go around. Even though last year Chass gave out 507 scholarships for a total of $574,000, they still had students they had to turn away. But even in tough situations, there are still some things you can do to improve your chances of receiving a scholarship.
Don't do it 12 minutes before the deadline and turn it in. Have someone read over what you've written. Make sure that you're being coherent, that you're expressing your need and your merit in the most suitable ways, and that you are addressing what the scholarship actually does.
Kirby also said the key to scholarships is to just keep applying. You never know when it will be you receiving that piece of paper. Misty Inglett, ATV News. For more information on what scholarships you qualify for, you can visit your college website or talk to your departments.
Do you ever wonder what happens to pumpkins after Halloween? In Logan, a lot of them get launched. Our photojournalist Jeffrey Dada went to the 5th annual Trebuchet Pumpkin Toss on Saturday to see them fly.
1, 5.
So this is the 5th year that the pumpkin toss has been in effect. This is by far the biggest turnout I think we've ever had. We had 9 teams here, one of the best showouts we've had. Some of the trebuchets look much better than previous years. Engineering comes into actually building up the trebuchets. There's some free body diagrams used, a lot of calculations to double check the strength from the beams, that kind of stuff, and get an accurate depth on how far the pumpkins are actually going to be thrown.
So we did so well because it all comes down to the design and calculations before.
Because the further it goes, so let's go. So that's positive this way.
We had an estimated max distance of 520 feet, so we surpassed that. We got 625.
Yeah, we were pretty surprised. We were thinking between 400 and 500 feet, and to see it go over 600 was really exciting.
They put on a small, oh, it's fine.
Candy Pumpkins is definitely an event just for the kids. What we do is they haul out a pumpkin, put a bunch of candy in and duct tape it. We launch it 100 some yards and let the kids run out and collect all the candy.
I really love it. You know, I have a family of 2 kids, and they love coming out and getting the candy pumpkins, and you know, it's just fun to see people come together and build something fun.
The pumpkin toss is put on every year by the American Society of Mechanical Engineers.
So lately the weather's been really chilly, icy winds and snow already. I mean, I feel like it's just a little early for snow.
Yeah, maybe, but I love it.
How's the rest of the week?
It looks like it's going to be pretty cold. A little bit less of the snowy stuff, but we'll eventually get snow. So when we come back, I'll tell you when the snow will be. The current temperature is 42 degrees, 41 degrees.
A group of engineering students at Utah State has designed and programmed an innovative remote-controlled submarine. USub is fully student-run. They designed and built the parts from the ground up and are always working to improve the submarine software and capabilities. These students show that computer science is more than just typing on keyboards. Dive right into engineering with USub.
Aggie Air is an innovative engineering program exclusive to Utah State. It provides opportunities for students to get hands-on and real-world experiences. By building model planes that photograph and scan detailed images of landscapes, Aggie Air can change the way we use the Earth's surface. Watch as Aggie Air takes flight.
Welcome back. So this week we had a little bit of snow, and then it all melted because it's Utah and snow always melts. Utah's weird like that. So, but it looks like it's going to snow again. We'll show you when it will be in a second, but first let's look at the national radar. As you can see, there's precipitation throughout the nation. You got some over here in New York, or around the New York area. It's a little further than that. It's in the east. And then the bigger part of the precipitation is all in the Midwest over here. Particularly, there's some storms going on over in Sioux City, Iowa. They've got some high wind warnings down there, and they've got some rain going down there. But let's look at how the state of Utah's looking. As you can see, there's not a ton that's going on down here. There's some flecks here and there, but there's not a ton of precipitation. In Logan, it's partly cloudy today, but there's no chance of any kind of rain going on. So let's look at when we will get some snow. Let's look at the 7-day forecast. So as you can see, Wednesday and Thursday, it's partly cloudy skies. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it's going to be sunny. On Sunday, it's going to be mostly sunny. There's going to be a few clouds here and there, but there's a 20% chance that there will be some precipitation, either rain or snow. Monday is when you guys who love snow are going to be excited, because there's a 60% chance that there's going to be some snow, and that's going to be in the morning. On Tuesday, there's going to be a 50% chance of snow, and there's going to be a little bit more snow that day. And so that's all I've got with weather. Let's see what's going on with sports. Taylor?
Hey, thanks, Chris. When we come back, we'll show you how the Aggie basketball teams did over the weekend.
Sorry, I've got big ideas.
As a college student, you have big ideas to make a big difference on campus. Why not get funding for those ideas in a big way? The Blue Goes Green Grant provides funding for student sustainability projects. These projects help USU students be more environmentally responsible, live healthier, and save money. To find out more, go to usu.edu/BGG. Get funding for your Blue Goes Green idea in a big way. Blue Goes Green. Make a difference.
Welcome to today's Aggie TV Sports. Today is the first day of the National Letter of Intent for college basketball, and it's been confirmed that Kobe McEwen has officially signed for Utah State basketball and will be here next season. The Utah State men's basketball team played in their last exhibition game Friday night against the California State Monterey Bay Otters. Even though Chris Smith had an impressive dunk, the Aggies only made a third of their shots. And the Otters out-toughed the Aggies. It's Monterey Bay's Ryan Nitz against 3 Aggies. And then the chance to steal the ball was denied by Mateo Jones. And then Nitz drained the ball. And watch this. David Collette dunked the ball. And then the Otters quickly responded, running right through the Aggie defense with a layup. The Aggies lost 77-60 and accredited this loss to one thing.
They out-toughed us. They came here ready to play. We weren't. It's that simple.
Next week, we'll show you how they play against Weber State this Friday. It isn't even the regular season yet, and the women's basketball team is smashing the competition. The Aggies were on fire against the Dixie State Red Storm Saturday. With this pass from Bailey Peck, freshman Lindsey Jensen sinks the 3, and Julianne Onschling had a great block to give the Aggies possession. With this assist from Victoria Price, freshman Rachel Brewster went for the trifecta, and then they did it again. The Aggies won 109-76, and despite the young age of the team, Coach Jerry Finkbeiner believes this team could be successful this season.
This team has a chance by February or March to be pretty good. But we have 9 first-year players, and we're going to be up and down with quality. And I just hope we're on the W side more than we are the L.
You can watch the women's basketball team play against Sacramento State this Saturday in the Spectrum. Over the weekend, the football team took on the University of New Mexico Lobos. After fumbling the ball twice and missing a field goal, the Aggies lost 13-14. They take on the Air Force Falcons this weekend. Do you remember the last USU game you went to? Think about the atmosphere and the fans. Was there heckling, or is that unnecessary? Utah State's student section is known for its craziness, but recently there have been some complaints. Do you think our student section is too rowdy? One Statesman article sparked a conversation across campus. Elise Wilding wrote the article, saying the student section is too demeaning.
It's okay to express disappointment if someone calls something you don't agree with, but being outright rude, I think, is unacceptable.
And while we've heard complaints about the student section here at the Spectrum, compared to other schools around the country, Utah State isn't the only one. Students at Duke University tell the opposing team to go home. And at Pittsburgh University, they ignore their opponents during team introductions.
There's nothing like a couple thousand students all yelling the same thing at the same time. I think if I was down on the court, it'd be kind of intimidating. And to be that distraction or also to be that support for your own team, just it feels good, makes you feel more connected to your school.
I think that it's great that Utah State has lots of school spirit, but I think that school spirit could be put to better use if we cheered more for our own team rather than demeaning the other team.
I've been friends with players on the opposing teams. Last week, I met a couple of the players before the game on Friday and talked to them. I said, hey, we're going to heckle you guys on the court. And they all just laughed. They said, that's great. Just don't post embarrassing pictures of us on social media. That's all they cared.
You can see the Spectrum Magic next Tuesday as the men's basketball team takes on Adams State.
Awesome. I'm so excited for basketball to start again. So thanks, Taylor. When we come back, we'll show you what fine art and the establishment of national parks have in common.
And California's future includes more water, but does that mean less wildfires?
Students in biological engineering at Utah State University have the unique chance through the Synthetic Biomanufacturing Institute to engineer uses for spider silk. Projects developed in the lab include medical coatings, strong adhesives, and elastic woven fibers. These Aggies from Utah State are influencing and changing the face of biological engineering. Join them and leave your mark as well.
Welcome back. Print, visual, portrait, and conceptual are all types of art. But what's plein air? Our Caroline Liston went to Zions to show us what it's like to be a plein air painter. She joins us live from the quad. Caroline?
Thanks, Misty. Artists will snap or sketch a photo, then take it back to their studio and paint it, just like this painting that is beside me, done by USU art student Carrie Spencer. Or there's plein air. Artists from all over the nation gathered last weekend in southern Utah to show us there is nothing plain about plein air.
Plein air means painting in the natural world. A plein air painter is someone who comes out, sees something that they want to paint, sets up their easel, and actually creates the painting on the spot outside in plein air.
Last weekend, Zion National Park celebrated its annual Plein Air Art Invitational, where 24 artists applied to come and paint the scenic sights at Zion.
We have artists from California, from Colorado, from Arizona, and from all the western states, but we also have artists from the East Coast.
With 24 artists comes 24 different styles, and painting anywhere from 6 to a dozen pictures over the week.
It's a pretty amazing thing to see when they're up, because you think, 6 days ago these paintings didn't exist, and now look at this amazing show.
One of the reasons people can enjoy the beautiful scenery while hiking trails here at Zion National Park is because of artists.
Painters like Thomas Moran and Frederick Dellenbaugh helped sway Washington to create the national park system.
At the time, there was photography, but it was black and white. And so they had seen images of these places, but they'd never seen them in color until the artists painted the canyons and then took those paintings back east.
Hafen says art not only helped spur the movement of creating national parks, but continues to draw tourists in.
People come here because they see these images and they say, I want to go there.
This is my plein air piece from Old Main earlier today. If it was in the studio though, it would be a masterpiece. Artists will usually sell their plein air artwork for lower prices because they believe doing it on the spot can change the quality. Back to you, Misty.
Thanks, Caroline.
USU climatologists say California will get more water over the next 50 years, but that doesn't mean fewer wildfires. Lawrence Hipps is showing off a study he and other USU scientists did. After putting climate data into a computer, they found a lot of extra water will come from floods. The state will still experience very dry years, and researchers expect wildfires to increase. Hipps says the study assumes no one does anything about climate change, and he says this information is important to both scientists and non-scientists.
This kind of information can be used by policymakers to understand what are the real consequences of future climate change if nothing substantial is done about it.
The research journal Nature Communications published the study by Hipps and his colleagues in October.
So I'm really excited that looks like we're going to have a new basketball player for Utah State. Hopefully that'll help our team get some wins.
He's fantastic. Oh man, I love watching him play. He's great. He's going to do some really great things here.
That should get the student section really excited and get some cheers back in there.
Yeah.
So. Thanks for watching this edition of ATV News.
For this show and more, visit our Facebook page. Have a great day, Aggies.